Eilat, Israel CNN. When hotel's bustling dining room sounded a red alarm, horrors of Hamas on October 7 were felt. While most of children dispersed in fear, thousands families who survived attacks on Israeli collective communities, known as kibbutzim, are currently homeless and housed in hotels off the coast of Red Sea resort town Eilat. But even now they face a new threat from a different militant group. From the Iran-backed Houthis, Sagui Dekel-Chen, 60, the inhabitants of Nir Oz kibbutz, said, Eilat on the southern end Israel thought he would be safe from attacks. We had to endure the various warnings and some blows of missiles and attack aircraft from the Houthis in Yemen. In recent weeks, the Houthis have undertaken numerous missiles and unmanned aerial vehicle attacks against Israel, and have warned that new attacks will take place. Israeli jets and the Arrow defense system were deployed to counter missiles and other air threats in the Red Sea region. On November 9, an alarm in Eilat began to sound when a suicide drone crashed over a school several kilometers from the hotel. But at that time the building was very thankfully without any children. While Houthis claimed responsibility for the attack, Israel later said drone came from Syria and hit an area there in response. About the repeated warnings, Dekel-Chen said, "It was absolutely terrible. You could see absolute horror in eyes of all children, from very young to young, because that led them back to absolute instinctive fear of death they were experiencing." Faced with this ongoing threat, residents of the displaced region are also burying their dead and campaigning for the release of their loved ones from captivity in Gaza. Dekel-Chen's 35-year-old son, Sagui, disappeared on October 7, and the family believes he was abducted by Hamas. Jonathan Dekel-Chen holds a poster of his missing son, Sagui Dekel-Chen. Dekel-Chen said, "That's unbearable. We don't know if it's healthy or injured." Dekel-Chen now helps care for 2 grandchildren and her pregnant bride, who will have third child in the next few weeks. Following October 7 attacks, Israel declared war on Hamas and is Gaza by missiles from the air, land and sea, as well as a ground attack that began at end of October. Israel says it is targeting Hamas leadership and underground tunnel network, but its impact on Palestinian civilian population has been disastrous. More than 12,000 people have. At least 30,000 people were injured and many hospitals were unable to work due to fuel embargo. The worsening humanitarian catastrophe caused a worldwide response and calls for a break in the S. However, Israel insisted there would be no ceasefire without the release of more than 200 hostages Hamas held. Horror Hotel in Eilat. About 160 survivors of Nir Oz currently live in Isrotel Yam Suf Hotel, overlooking beach just miles from narrow Aqaba Bay and rust-colored mountains of Jordan. But the beauty and peace of this place is shatte.